Well, during COVID-19 changes our lives a lot. We appreciate that we get the opportunity to be together to give audience worldwide a speech related children gender-based violence issue. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Chiwi, the president of Pink Foundation, and Paige Fang, a nurse of Dagang Elementary School, and Daisy Zhang, the bassist in Yongfu Elementary School. So let's begin by me. I'll be the first one to present my topic. Great. Okay. Can you read it? Click on it. Can you read my PowerPoint?
Host, I can hear your voice, but like someone said on the chat board, some men are talking in Chinese, so please stop.
Can you, excuse me, can you read my PowerPoint right now? Slides? Does it work? Does it work? It's weird. Okay, that's my beginning. My topics related to the moral education program promotion for children bullying prevention in Southern Taiwan. I will give a little introduction of Lions International 301 Taiwan. Lions members in the 301 district come from Yunlin, Jiayi, and Tainan. There are 88 clubs and 3,000 Lions members. We continue to expand our service to local community, and through the power of our services to the local community and through the power of our services, we have expanded to every corner of the world, including vision, health, youth, elderly, environmental protection, disaster assistance. What's more, we also concern women and girl children protection. So what's RAP versus MEP? RAP means Reading Action Program. Is nearly 100 years. Lions have greatly contributed to preventing blindness, restoring eyesight, and improving eye care for hundreds of millions of people worldwide. The Reading Action Program allows Lions to promote additional assistance to individuals with visual impairments, particularly by focusing on braille literacy and access to assistive technology. But how to localize this program with the maximum benefit normally is global organizations' task. So in Taiwan, Reading Action committed with local chapters to use MEP to promote rural education establishment in elementary schools in southern Taiwan. In Taiwan, campus bullying occurs even in elementary school, middle school, or high school. So our Reading Action Program Committee President of Lions International, Wei Shen, said to reduce crime rate and protect our society by moral education implementation rooting from childhood. Lions International donates hundreds of moral education materials in southern Taiwan yearly. We used Heaven Kid as our materials. So what's that? It's directed by Derek Yang Wu in 2014. The program of Heaven Kid was adopted from Di Gui, a well-known secular Chinese classic based on the ancient teaching of the Chinese philosopher Confucius. So Di Gui outlines the standards for being a good student, and child. Confucius believed that the moral principles, virtues, and discipline should be very first lessons taught to a child, and that a child needs to practice them daily. Heaven Kid applied the theoretical 3D approach to the production of this educational television program, replacing dogmatic preaching approaches. The 3D animation with lively entertainment serves as a tool of moral educational in a subtle manner. So when we promote moral education, we use seeds programs or praise media or interact with local government education bureau officers, senators by Reading Action Committee of Lions International Taiwan. Here is the news. Here's the local news that our committee to visit the council speakers, and the speaker of Tainan City Council urged Education Blue to support this program. Here are some photos that we work on seed projects that I mentioned. This is the local news reported that Heaven Kid materials include in elementary schools alternative curriculums. So to sum up, we suggest by routine moral education can eliminate campus bullying, and it's better to obtain local government or senators support for gender equality advocate. But the most important thing is we have to gain public attention and participation on bullying issue by more advocate activists with other NGOs allies. Thank you for your listening. So hold on. So let's put so I'd like to hand this presentation over to the next speaker. Let's welcome Dr. Niwichi. Ichiwi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you're in from. My name is Dr. Nchewi Elemi. I'm president and founder of Pink Africa Foundation. I want to say a very big thank you to everyone who's found time to join us to discuss school-related gender-based violence against children during the pandemic. I will be speaking on the topic or sub-theme, the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the girl-child education. Hi, Angel, is it possible to help me share my screen? Thank you.
Sure.
That's it. So like I said earlier, I will be discussing the impacts of the coronavirus pandemic on the girl child with the following introduction, a brief introduction on the impact itself, how many girls are out of school. We'll talk about threats, we'll talk about more challenges brought on the existing challenges, and we'll try to discuss why we have these challenges, and we will also talk about our role, can we do in our various spaces around the world to help combat the effects of the pandemic on our girls. Next slide, please. Next two slides. Okay, yeah. By way of introduction, we found out that the widespread lockdown, which didn't give us time to think about anything, didn't give us time to prepare, around the world has caused over 743 million girls to be out of school. And it is envisaged that 10 million more secondary school girls will eventually become school dropouts before the end of the pandemic. And since we are hoping that the pandemic will end soon, but we do not know when, we are saying that the number may be more from the estimates gotten globally. Each year, we find out, statistics have shown that 12 million girls are married out before they turn 18, before they get to full adulthood. That equates to 23 girls every minute and nearly one girl every 3 seconds. The records are scary, but sadly, the records are true. This number, we are told, will vastly increase by experts around the world. More so, we see that the global actions taken to contain the spread of COVID-19 and its resultant economic strain has left millions of children worldwide, especially girls in hard-to-reach areas and low socioeconomic areas, living with the threats to their safety, their well-being, and their existence on planet Earth. For us in Nigeria, most schools have resumed. However, majority of the children in the rural communities have no protective words. Have resumed, but many children, especially in the rural areas, have no protective wears like face masks, hand sanitizers, hand washing stations in their schools. And the matter is even worse for rural communities that have poor access to potable water. So they barely have water to do the basic things they need to do, like clean up, drinking, washing, at least of all, regular hand washing. The physical distance we experience, I think we've missed one slide. Okay. Now let's talk about impacts and threats. Sorry about that. Impacts of the pandemic would be as a result of, would include physical impacts. Physical impacts would include physical violence. These girls are exposed to violence at home, and we have increased child labor. They have to actually work for them to be able to feed on day-to-day basis. Corporal punishments have heightened because the number of hours the children stay at home with their abusive relatives have increased due to the fact that some schools are still shut down. We have issues of negligence, the children are abandoned. We have upsurge of teenage pregnancies, unsafe abortions, and some eventually die. We have no leading statistics in most of the low socioeconomic countries, and so we cannot say the gravity of physical impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the girl child. Next slide, please. The psychosocial impacts will include verbal abuse. If a child stays at home with an adult who is abusive, verbal abuse is day-to-day. There's coercion, there's depression, suicidal tendencies will abound, emotional abuse, and COVID-19 related stigmatization for those that have lost relatives and caregivers due to the pandemic. The sexual abuse, harassment, incest, rape, and cyber threats remain a day-to-day threat to our children who are girls at home, in homes that we're not sure of their safety. We also have stressors to the children and stressors to the caregivers because of school closures and movement restrictions. These have disrupted greatly the routine that the children are used to and has disrupted support systems like after school and child support centers for parents who have to go to work. And we have unprecedented unemployment for caregivers and their teachers. So the socioeconomic impact crunches more and the children are more at risk. We have seen that in most low income areas, our children have become breadwinners overnight, especially those that have lost their caregivers to the pandemic. Daily, we see more children being welcome on the streets as street kids. They are exposed to vices, theft, drug abuse, and the teeming threats that seem to come day by day as they are heralded by their new nomenclature, now called street children. It's not easy to be a street child. You don't know when your next meal will come from. You don't know who will hit you from the back. And the girls are worst hit. And you find the girls in uncompleted buildings, you find the girls in dumpsters, you find the girls. And the threats of unprotected sexual intercourse hits us very hard. Next slide, please. Why do we have this challenge? We have these challenges because in low socioeconomic areas, especially Nigeria, we do not have many virtual learning capabilities. We may have schools, most schools have opened, schools in high areas limit the number of days they go to school. The children have to access the internet to attend schools. But we don't have these in hard to reach areas where internet facilities are poor. And so you find that in those regions, only 12% of households have internet connectivity in the poorest of countries globally. Access to mobile internet is just 26% lower for women and girls. So our women and girls are worse hit than the male counterparts. So if a family has more girl children, more girls than boys, the girls will likely be in the labor spaces trying to make ends meet rather than they be in school. So while the economic crunch hits these poor families, girls are the first to be pulled out of school. They are the first to be put to child labor to cater for other families, and then they are married off before they turn 18. Others become child brides, like we see. Teenage pregnancies are bound, unsafe abortions, HIV/AIDS, and the risk of cervical cancer from exposure to hepatitis and to human papillomavirus. Our girls have been forced into motherhood and they are not likely to return to school. once school reopens post the pandemic, and we're estimating over 10 million girls to be school dropouts due to pregnancy, unsafe abortion, or being forced to be early child brides. Next slide, please. Please, can I have the next slide? Why do we have these challenges? In the absence of physical school and access to, please, can I have the previous slide? In the absence of physical schools and access to virtual schools, programs such as Girls Club and support networks have been put on hold. The girls are left without physical support, no psychological support, no psychosocial support, no safe spaces. And with the movement restrictions, counseling have been put on hold. So we have more girls being exposed to vices, nowhere to turn to, and nobody to talk to. And so therefore, the aforementioned threats and its attendant complications are bound in certain regions around the world. Next slide, thank you, next slide. So like Malala Yousafzai says, one child, one teacher, one book and one pen can change the world. I will ask this question: when last did you give anybody a gifting or a set of books or one book or one pen or one pencil? Or when last did you buy a child or walk into a school and say, I want to provide for internet access in the school next to you? Well, we at Pink Africa Foundation, we say, whatever you're doing, start with your immediate space. What are you doing in your neighborhood to make sure that one girl child finds herself in a place where she can get adequate education? Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Please, next slide. Hello.
Yes, this one?
Next slide. It's blank, I can't see anything.
It's the photo that your last slides.
Slides before this one.
Probably we have a little bit late.
Two more slides, please. You are the last slide. Two more slides. After the picture of one child, one teacher.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one. This one.
We've gone back. After the picture of one child, one teacher, we have to answer, what questions are we to answer in order for us to improve the education for our girls? And I'm asking you, I'm asking myself, who will provide internet for rural girls, especially the 734 plus 10 million girls globally who are at risk of not having internet facilities to go to school? We just need one person to support one school, rural school community with an internet facility and a community router. And I put it to you, you could start from your immediate community or look for any other community that needs your help globally. How would you help child marriages in the region where you reside? My answer is help sponsor one more girl to go to school in addition to your kids. Or if you do not have kids yet, help sponsor one more girl child in your neighborhood and keep her in school. When she's self-aware and educated, issues of child marriages can be put on hold. Next question we'll ask ourselves is, who will provide self-care packages, educational materials, and personal hygiene products like the menstrual pads? We at Pink Africa Foundation, we teach our rural girls how to make the reusable pads from locally available materials and reduce the percentage of missed schools from period poverty. And the most important thing to help cope psychosocial problems is to provide virtual mental health spaces online, as well as physical safe spaces for our women and girls in our environment. We are also saying that if we empower one child, one woman, we empower our entire community. If we teach one girl child a trade and encourage her to teach 3 other women, then we will have for ourselves a community that is bound to grow in the next dispensation. We encourage government and private facilities, television outlets, media outlets to commit daily to at least 2 hours of age-stratified educational programs for our children on radio, TV, social media platforms. So we keep those of them who have problems of movement restriction educated wherever they are worldwide. How do we ensure safety for our children who have resumed school despite the pandemic? We encourage us to support wherever we find ourselves, rural schools, with educational materials, face masks, school materials, bags, face shields, hand washing stations. We at Pink Africa Foundation in Nigeria, we're trying our bit. We've started with 3 rural schools, and we're hoping that organizations on this platform and those that are listening to us worldwide will do something similar in the environments they find themselves. Next slide, please. Next slide. Please, can I have the next slide? I think that's almost my last but one slide. In closing, we appreciate Girls Not Brides, member organizations who have worked to ensure that girls are able to continue learning and return to school. We appreciate Ofio Equipment Foundation Nigeria, committed to teaching skills acquisition to thousands of girls. In this pandemic, they've trained over 5,000 girls. And we thank the Pink Africa Foundation and our partners for teaching rural girls in Nigeria how to make washable pads and supply them with a year's supply and carry out safe back to school campaigns. We have provided safety materials for rural schools, even in hard to reach areas. We appreciate NAWOJ in their roles they've played to encourage education and stem the tides of child marriages in Nigeria. Our Muslim family counseling services in Ghana, we thank them for sharing information on harmful practices. We can go on again. There are lots of people to thank. And we say those who are doing things to keep girls in school and keep them safe during the pandemic, we wish them more of God's blessing and more strength to do more. In closing, we would say, we have a 2-minute video we want you to watch, and it tells the story of what we have done during the pandemic. So those are references. I would say that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. That was first said by Nelson Mandela. He's the African legend committed to salvation of our South African brothers. So please, can you just give us 2 minutes and see the little things we have done in our own little space to support girl-child education and keeping our children safe during the pandemic. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. We're open to questions. Please, can you play the video? Okay, I'm open to questions. You can drop your questions on the chat box. We'll respond to it by chatting, or you can send your questions to us at thepinkafrica@gmail.com. You can also watch the video on our YouTube channel at Pink Africa Foundation. If you log on to our YouTube channel, you can watch the video. So without much ado, so we don't keep us waiting because of the video, please permit me to leave the floor to the next presenter. Thank you very much, Angel, for having me. I appreciate you all.
Thank you, Dr. Nichiwe. It's our first time to hold a virtual forum, so there's some problems on it. Oh, thank you for your patience. All right, so next floor with the speaker, I would like to hand this presentation over to next speaker, Pompei Jie. Let's welcome her to give us a speech.
Hello, everybody. My name is Fang Pei Jie. Share with greatest situation of the campus brain posture. Speaker Fang Pei Jie. First of all, I am going to share a case with you. Case showing. One day in PE class, brothers support were on the court with terrifying screens. Some students discovered and immediately rushed to the office of student affairs and report the accident. The school dealt with the students immediately and finished and the report system and follow up. The cause of the accident was these two fifth grade students have been bullied by sixth grade students for a long time. Whenever playing boys happy on the call after class, the fifth grade students were forcefully expelled by the sixth grade student to show their dignity. Under long-term pressure, the younger student, along with other classmates, decided to fly back with a bus cutter in the end. Next, capital bullying is incident handing posts. It's divided into three phases. 1. Discovery period. 2. Treatment period. 3. Follow-up period. Discovery period. You have student behavior deprivation, various preliminary evaluation, and 看不到英文。我这被遮到了哦，那边被遮到了。好了 ，evaluation and determination of the boarding reporting team. Student behavior deprivation have way to discover different behavior. Observation by tutor and or assistant, complaint from the student or parents, campus bullying questionnaire. Discover the total price mere evaluation. The teacher tutors the student according to his power and responsibility. Evaluation, devaluation, behavior category. It evaluates where to ask for Instance, separate boarding case will lead to major school security incidents. Central boarding prevention and control response team for evaluation and determination. Treatment prior. Major school safety incident boarding case. Follow pre-evaluation where the case is closed or not. Evaluation import. Sorry.跑掉了。跑掉，这样。哦，我弄错前面一张，最近哈，major school safe incident boarding case. It's the major school safe event. Start the counseling mechanism. In the case of boarding, start boarding some counseling mechanism. Follow-up period. Evaluate where this case in close or no. Evaluation of employment. School continuous follow-up counseling. The above showing case, according to a treatment policy, is what refine that's the preliminary evaluation result of the incident was a boarding case. So start boarding counseling mechanism. 1. Report on school self to hold a coaching meeting. 3. Improve the counseling record. Continuous counseling of case improvement. Counseling programs sure to develop for bullies, victims, and by standard set a content division of labor and schedule of counseling. The case is closed. Help giving. When friends brings one giving resemble and clean no. 2. Let children know what bullying is. It's a danger and it's not allowed. 3. More care and less violence. When teaching children, more care and less abuse, and the kids learn away from media information about violence. TV program and video game content. Encourage your positive social skills. Actively teach and demonstrate positive social skills. For example, acceptance, care, and respect. And when the child shows the expect behavior, we should give affirmation and encouragement immediately. Bullying. 1. Encourage children to say what's on their mind. When children are bullying, support should be given to him and let him know that it was the bullying who did one thing, not him. 2. Speak out your thoughts and its parents were like. Teach children how to face bullying. Teach children to face it with determination. Example, leaving the scene or order for help, but never fly back. The event will come to an end soon. 3. Enhancing interpersonal relationships. Teach children is social skill. Improve interpersonal relationship. Make more friends. It cannot only reduce the chance of being bullied, it can also heal and damage. Students learn to expression scale of refusing violence and say no bravely. Abroad is my share of the school case. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for one-page's speech. So let's hand over this presentation to the next speaker. Let's welcome Daisy Zhang. And because she is a little girl, she will have the interpreters to help.
Hi everyone, my name is Daisy Chan. I want to tell you my story about being bullied. This is online. This is me. I am 12 years old. My family members are my parents and 3 brothers and 1 sister. I am elementary student in special music class. I can play the piano, cello, and double bass. I like noodles and fast food. There's not a commercial ad for Burger King. 我想这是个非常复杂的霸凌议题。
It's a very complicated bullying issue.
大约1年以前，我们班上发生了有人考试作弊和偷窃的事，但是他们的父母亲有权势可以影响学校的决定。
About 1 year ago, our class had cheating, stealing behaviors occurred. However, their parents had a strong power to affect a school's decision.
让我觉得夸张的事情是，我们1个学期就换了7个代课老师。这段时间里，有些家长开始关注这些发生的行为，有些家长开始了霸凌的行为，而这也是我噩梦的开始。因为我父母亲不是属于在某些家长群体中，所以有些家长开始有耳语，或是在网络上造谣攻击他们，而我就被排除在毕业音乐会的分组之外。
It's unbelievable that we changed 7 substitute teachers as homeroom teachers in 1 semester. During that time, most parents began to concern those inappropriate behaviors. Some parents began bullies, and it was the beginning of my nightmare. I was purposely excluded from the class group for musical graduation concert by some parents because of spreading physical or cyber rumors about my parents, who not belong in parents' groups.
从那之后，我父母亲为了帮助我，花了很多时间个别和其他父母、学校老师、校长等沟通。令人难过的是，居然通通不管用。但我的父母亲仍不放弃并持续的努力。终于在3个月之后，有4个同学决定站出来帮助我，并说服了他们的家长，另外组团让我加入毕业音乐会。
Since from that, my parents spent a lot of time helping me to communicate with other parents individually, school principal, teachers, and so on. It's sad that it didn't work. My parents didn't give it up and continued to try to find a way out. Finally, after 3 months, I got help from my 4 classmates and their parents to help me get a chance to be included in musical graduation concert.
虽然被霸凌很让人感到挫折，但幸好走过的这段旅程其实是上帝的祝福。我和我的父母亲不想要再看到类似的事情又再发生。以我一个小女孩分享的故事，我希望随着我长大而能够帮助到其他有和我相同经历的人。
Although it's so frustrating to be being bullied, I went through from that journey. It turns out the place from God. Both my parents and I don't want to see a repeat of similar things. Sharing my story as a little girl, I hope can help others like me when I grow up.
So I really want to let you know, anyone can be bullied and it's not always easy to recognize if it is happening to you. 当我父母发现我被霸凌后，他们告诉我，没有人是应该被霸凌的，而且自身的安全是我原本就应该有的权利。
My parents found I was being bullied and told me no one deserves to be bullied, and I have the right to be safe.
发生在我身上的霸凌行为，
Bullying behaviors affect me.
有些男同学会对我说一些不好的话。
Some bullies make nasty comments about me.
我在学校会感到孤单和被疏离。
I felt alone and sometimes isolated at school.
有些同学会散播有关我父母亲和我的不实传言。
Some classmates spread untrue rumors about my parents and me.
我被一位同学从旁踢我，我还被妈妈送急诊。但事后，该同学家长不仅没道歉，也拒付医疗费用。
One of my classmates kicked me. I was sent to hospital emergency room by my mom, and his parents didn't apologize and refused to pay the medical bills.
被霸凌后，我发生了什么事？
What appears when I was being bullied?
总是会头痛，
I got headaches all the time.
做事不再有自信，
Not feel confidence anymore.
不喜欢外出和练习乐器，
Refuse to be in the public and praise music instrument.
变得容易生气，食量变少。
Become angry easily and eat less.
At the end,
No, from this slide, just to supervise these people such as parents, peers, school teachers, Ministry of Education, Help Online number 1999, and
politicians
politicians
whom
when
we look for help, and you can
and
ask
you
for
can
help from them
help
too.
from them too.
It's very
It's very
difficult to
difficult
help
to
victims.
help victims.
Don't be afraid. It
It
just takes time.
At the end, besides my parents, I want to say thank you to those helping me, including my 4 classmates 许玉珍、陈千羽、蔡信武 and 林云浩。Thank you.
Can you turn off your sharing screen, Daisy Young? Thank you for all speakers sharing.
现在觉得好一点。现在觉得好一点。
Well, so you're feeling right now is feel better, right?
Yeah.
All right, so great. All right, so please turn your screen off. Your sharing screen. All right, so Clyde, I really appreciate that because for the COVID-19 and right now time in Taiwan is very late, but some of you from Taiwan can watch us our events. We have solved several questions, or if you have any question, you can leave the message in the chat or just send send the contact to us. Probably we can answer you, but right now, I want to ask the speaker, are there any bullying or is there many bullying issues in your school?
学校学生发生这种模棱两可的 case 很多。
There are many similar incidents happened at school.
但是呢，重大议题事件的时候送那个霸凌案件的每年只有1件，0到1件。
But the average number, the school will consider it as a bullying incident. The average number is just 0 to 1 per year.
Okay, thank you for your sharing.
Thank you.
Dr. Annie, could we know more about the current your countries happened for the domestic violence like you just shared with us? Hello, Dr. Chini. Okay, all right. So let's share. Let me share more because I'm not sure whether you hear my voice when I was the first one to present my topics. But anyhow, for today's issue is quite a little bit tough and difficulty because bullying issues not a lot of people wants to mention and to talk about that. Like I said, Taiwan International District 300D1 donates a lot of having kids website materials, moral education. We believe that the children can see from an early age, they can also train moral ambassador and hope to invite more people with lovely idols to work together. Because we believe that moral education take root. So we provide free training for teachers, parents, or volunteers who are interested in promoting character education, hoping to take root in character education through seed projects to reduce the bullying occurs. So having kids was adapted from 弟子规, but for 弟子规, it's much more familiar for Asian people, especially for Chinese, because 弟子规 is in English means that standards for being a good student and child. It's the guide to a happy life. For thousands of years, this book contained the recommended standards for students, even though they seem stringent, but today standards. It is apparent that the people of the time left, it was important that the child should be well disciplined and taught moral principles and virtues when still very young. So is there any comments that all the speakers want to share with us? Because we still have several times left. From our chat room, I saw Ms. Bonzona Benton. She, I'm not sure, is a girl, boy, is a Mr. or Mrs., but it said, Daisy, you're so brave to break up and share your experience. So it's good. It's good to hear your experience. So let me check whether our others, Dr. Yanni, still online or not.
Dr. Ani, I'm here. My phone went off.
Oh, so great. You're back. All right. I just mentioned you that I want to, we want to have you more sharing for right now current situation in your country for domestic violence, because you just mentioned that the COVID-19, the domestic violence occurred enhanced a lot.
Okay, you want me to share more on domestic violence?
Yeah.
Nigeria here, the culture of silence and domestic violence is very profound. The women rarely come out to say, hey, I've been violated, except when it escalates to a level that her life is at risk and she cannot hold it anymore, or the act of violence was perpetrated in public, it is very difficult to have women come say, I've been violated. And incidences of emotional violence top the charts. 3 out of every 4 women experiences emotional violence where they are. And with regards to children, since their mothers don't speak up, it's difficult for the girl child to actually speak up there, because it will be said that you're trying to paint a bad picture of the family name. So for us here, we don't have that data. But for us as Pink Africa Foundation, if we come across a child who we think is emotionally violated, or a woman who has gender-based violence issues, there are a few safe spaces in Cross River State right now, a few safe spaces in Nigeria that we can do apt referrals and then go from there and attempt to seek justice. The Office of the Minister for Women Affairs is doing a lot. There are a lot of NGOs on ground doing a lot. In Cross River State, we have Girls Power Initiative doing a lot to help curb gender-based violence. The spotlight in Nigeria, and they're trying their best to mitigate against gender-based violence. But I tell you, the silence, the culture of silence, keeping quiet until you're about to die, is still very strong. And we're hoping that with advocacy, we can break these chains and encourage more women to speak out. That's basically what's. Hello, I'm here. Is there anybody out there?
Yes, we're here. Oh, wow, so thank you for sharing. It's so great. Doctor, I just knew that you have you got COVID-19 before, so you get already recovered, right? So how's everything right now?
I'm fine. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It was a bit scary, but I'm fine. I'm
Wow, that's
fine.
great. That's so great. All right, so is there any speakers want to speak more? I'm not sure whether you just saw our opening music performance, but because when I put it out, there's no voice. I don't know what's going on. It's my first time to use this one.
We'll be better next time.
All right, so okay. So before before we leave, thank you for all of you attending this meeting. So I would say the meeting is closed. So have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Thank you, Fang Pengjing, Foundation for Women's Rights. Thank you, everyone. It was my pleasure to be on this platform. And thank you for all you're doing. Keep doing more.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Hi, Daisy. I enjoyed the session. Thank you. Chung Kang Shang. Did I get that right? Nice meeting you too.
Yeah.
Chung Kwan.
Yeah, pretty,
Got it right.
pretty like 80% correct.
Oh.
Nice to meet you. You got a talent to speak Chinese.
Yeah, I'm gonna learn Chinese. It's one of the things I want to do before I turn 40. So
Great.
I'm open to tutor materials and stuff that make me learn Chinese faster. I'm sure Daisy will want to teach me.
We'll see someday. We'll work together.
All right.
See you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
还在录哦，这段还在录。对，现在是我在里面。
我不是，因为我明明在里面的。这第二个，哦天啊，我的。请问一下，我这边怎么办啊？Hello，Hello，这是第二个进来的，现在有可以存档吗？
我不知道怎么存呢，我不知道怎么存呢。
哦天哪，我
不要紧，不要紧，我看我
，No, it's so weird。
显示，显示。没有，他还在录制啊，我在找怎么那个录起那个本机录制啊。
啊？
就是你有权的要